Good morning, everybody. Can somebody confirm that you can see me and hear me, please? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you to my mods for being here. Can somebody confirm that you can see me and hear me, please? Good morning. Can somebody please confirm that you can hear me and see me before I start? Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Linda. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to stay on about an hour. My allergies are kicking my butt today. So, yeah. Let's see. We're just going to get started so I can get to as many as possible. Okay. Any advice for me from my guardian angels? This to me is reading like a feeling of your feelings. This would be an offer of love. So pouring into yourself. It feels like with the Seven of Swords being reversed, there's a need to change some kind of strategy on the way that you're handling something that you're holding that's heavy energetically. I read this as like a need to release emotions so that you can work through the stagnancy attached to them. My grandma passed December 21. Wanted to know if she has anything to say to me. This is some kind of like shoulda, coulda, woulda that she wants you to detach from. There's something that I feel like a decision made for her or on her behalf that she's saying the right decision was made. There's somebody specifically that needs to release a feeling of like being unsure if they made the right decision regarding her. She's saying the right decision was the one that was made. You have nothing to feel guilty about, and we are so connected. The right decision is the one that was made. Did Chaya steal some of my crystals from my home? If yes, why did she do it? Something being kept in the darkness. This is like tension. I didn't necessarily think this through ahead of time. This to me feels like what is that called? Like a crime of opportunity type thing. Like I didn't necessarily plan to do this, but I see a way to relieve some kind of stress for myself. I made a final decision without thinking it all the way through. Either to sell, or it feels more like wanting the energy that was attached to them. It doesn't feel like something that was thought out beforehand, more of like in the moment, I did it without thinking through. When my maternal grandma passed away, was it due to sickness? something that drains the life force and comes on very quickly that led to the passing. To me, this would be sickness. Oh, the Tower, High Priestess, and Death. As I said, to me, this would be sickness. It feels like something that comes on very quickly and almost like out of nowhere. And Nine of Cups is reversed, so I tend to believe it's not necessarily something that she could have done anything about differently. Like how some sicknesses, I guess, are more preventable if you do this, that, and the third. This feels like something that wasn't very preventable and came on very quickly. Is P my soulmate or twin flame? If so, will we be together in the future? P, you, together in the future. It feels more like this to me for P would be commitment to lessons that are hard to learn. This would be lack of forward progress, going different directions. I do feel, oh, I thought there was a card under there. This would be a lack of commitment, and this would be finding your way. So I feel as though this relationship is significant on like, I guess you could say like a soulmate, but more of like a learning very specific lessons from one another that are necessary for your soul's evolution. I'm not seeing coming back together, but I am seeing success based off of the lessons that you needed to learn. So whatever you were meant to get from the completion of the lessons with this person, it ends up working out in each of your favors, even if that doesn't mean you end up together. Any message from my mother or father who passed? Both. There's a need to take a look at where you're pouring your energy into and making sure that you're not subconsciously or accidentally standing in your own way. This to me reads like routine, mindset. Something needs to be looked into from a higher perspective. It's like there's an opportunity or an option that's available for you, but it needs you to get out of your own way to really step onto that path. We are so connected. Don't be afraid. I'll be there to hold your hand every step of the way. Yeah, it's like taking a different path. Pivoting your perspective, recognizing that you already have the power in your hands and you don't need whatever or whomever it is outside of you that you think you need to complete something. What my husband and I want most happen for us? So right now it feels like you feel a bit defeated or stagnant. This would be you staying committed to the path. Knight of Pentacles, why is it reversed? It feels like you get some variation of it. It might not be exactly, you said what we want most. It might not be unfolding in the way that you are looking for, or it may be not the complete package of what you're trying to accomplish. But with the 10 of Cups, you do end up fulfilled, but Page of Cups is reversed. So it's like you end up fulfilled, but there's some kind of caveat or some kind of like, it's not 100% completion. Knight of Pentacles is reversed, so I feel like it's going to take some time. And there may be some like 2 steps backward before you get steps forward. So you end up fulfilled, but there's still a bit of a need to apply the pressure, I guess. My business partner, Shan, keeps putting off our meetings. Is he serious? Is what he's offering real? Is he serious? Is he serious? This to me feels like I offer you something or I describe it a certain way and I'm actually not there yet. I'm a little bit below being able to provide what I offered. Magician's reverse, so some kind of deceptive communication here. Strength in reverse, I need it to be the one that had the upper hand in a conversation. So I all the way committed to giving myself some kind of stress. And now I'm trying to learn how to get out of it. Is what he's offering real? I don't have it yet, but I'm taking action to try and make it a thing. To me, this backs up this. It's like I said something and now I'm trying to move the pieces into place so I can fulfill what I promised. I feel like there's something up. Something isn't all the way being represented properly. I was adopted at birth. Do I have any bio siblings? I feel like you may have a half sibling. I feel like not a full sibling, so it could be either your bio mother or bio father had a sibling or had a child, but not with the other parent. Hold on 1 second. Seven of Swords in reverse is what fell over there. It feels like the message is that it wasn't you. How do I word this? It wasn't that you or the timing of you was the reason for the adoption. It feels like it was something that was, I feel like to some extent from your bio mother, there's this feeling of like needing self-forgiveness or questioning if it's something like that you brought on. And I feel like this is saying it's not the timing of when you were conceived or born that was the cause for the choices that were made. It feels more like an inability to get ducks in a row, like from your bio mother's perspective, like I don't feel like I can provide what I need to be able to provide, as opposed to like being angry or upset about the timing of you. So I feel like the message is to allow for yourself to not continue to question yourself about if you innately like mixed around in the timing of something. I don't know how to like word that better. I'll allow for self-forgiveness and knowing that you aren't the reason for the decisions that were made on your behalf. Will I find love next year? I'm reading this as like you falling back in love with yourself again, or you finding value in or like enjoying the time that you're spending with yourself. Six of Swords is here, so it feels like comfortable solitude, I guess I'd say. I'm not necessarily seeing you finding love, but I'm not seeing you being upset about not finding it yet either. It feels almost like this is a pivotal point where you're enjoying your own company, preparing for love. Do I have glaucoma or is there something else? Will the doctor that I see tomorrow help me? Do I have glaucoma? Is it something else? Will the doctor I see tomorrow help me? I feel like you're going to be taking a step in the right direction with the doctor, but not necessarily having all of the answers yet. I feel like it's more of figuring out what comes next to continue to get a final answer as opposed to being given a final answer. I'm not necessarily getting a confirmation that it's glaucoma, but I am getting that there feels to be something else. That's not to say that there's not also glaucoma. I'm not getting a confirmation on that though, but I am feeling like there is another factor that's playing a major role here. I would say that the main issue feels to be something else. But I also feel like you're going to be either getting, so it would either be the doctor coming up with the next steps for testing with them or referring you to someone who can do the appropriate testing. Because it feels like there's a step in the right direction, but not a final answer yet. Any messages for me? This kind of reads like a need to spring clean in your life in some way. It doesn't need to be literal, but it can be literal. This is like making space to build something else as a shifting of your energy comes, like making room for your energy to be able to shift in some way because there's a change of strategy coming as you learn to see something more clearly. This feels like a season of getting out of your own way, but you need to make room externally for that to match the internal changes. Any messages from my spirit guides that I should know? You're being guided to take some kind of action in the opposite direction of a fear when it comes to communication. So some kind of release, expressing, difficult conversation, whatever the fear is telling you that you're not able to do, walking towards that expression to rebalance out the masculine, feminine. The divine feminine is holding back and it's putting the divine masculine into a bit of survival mode. So expression is what rebalances that out. I've applied for a temp job in San Francisco. Will I get hired? I'm not seeing that as a yes, unfortunately. I would say to do the appropriate follow-ups and everything like that, there may be like a situation where if somebody else doesn't work out, they bring you in on like a second wave. But I don't, the Sun in reverse, 4 of Cups, I would feel like no, not at this time. Just went through a painful breakup. What's my soul lesson from this relationship? This is the completion of a lesson that you've already learned, in which you're meant to stay committed to choosing yourself. A specific shadow wound. 1 second. It's almost like purposely triggering a shadow that you already healed to see if you would stay committed to choosing yourself. Abandonment wound. Are you going to abandon yourself when you feel abandoned by another person? Because you already learned the lesson. It's just, are you going to stay committed to continuing to choose yourself? Fear of vulnerability as well when it comes to with yourself. So are you going to numb and avoid processing your feelings, which in essence would be abandoning yourself, or are you going to continue to show up for yourself? Because if you do, then the next partner you attract will be someone who's ready to be emotionally available like you want them to be. Is A my twin flame? I would say A is this is like can't pass go until you mature and learn the lesson that's going to put you on the right path. I would say this is like a karmic necessary lessons that are coming from this individual so that you can figure out what it is that you don't want and what you're unwilling to accept. Will this be the last place I live? I would say no. This would be recovery. This is like feeling like everything's getting ripped out from underneath of you. So that would be moving. And this would be a painful ending. I feel like it's almost like a decision made on your behalf, or a decision that you work with others to make for yourself. I feel like you're going to end up somewhere else. It might not be your first choice to do so, but it may be more of like a only option type of thing. I want to start my own business, have a few ideas, but not sure what I should pursue. This kind of reads like a bit of a learning curve before taking action, needing to study a different perspective on your business model or plan here so that you can do things right the first time around. It feels like needing to have a few ideas, but not sure what I should pursue. It feels like kind of needing to go back to the drawing board a little bit and figure out which of the options that you're considering has the biggest learning curve for you, because it feels like that's the right option. The one that feels like the most beyond your comfort zone when it comes to being prepared for it. This is like something that's still in an incubation phase. So whichever option or whichever idea you feel like would require the most like studying or exploring of like build up for it, that's the right move for you. It's the one that's furthest from your comfort zone. Did Anthony B really like, love me, or was he just using me? Not, how do I word this? Did he really like, love me, or was he just using me? Not intentionally using you, but how do I word this? Not using you as in like using you and discarding you, but kind of using you in the way of like, I'm practicing with you to see what love means to me, or what vulnerability looks like to me. Like you felt like a safe practice person to where I can start to come out of my shell and not be judged by you, but I don't know if I'm really ready to be who I'm showing up as. So I think I'd word it as like you felt like a safe person for this person to practice being vulnerable around. So not necessarily using purposely, but also not ready to really engage in what they were promising, if that makes sense. Was I pregnant with Nicole in past life when a couple unalived us? That would be the mother card. That would be the daughter. That was freedom, like freedom and offer, or a cord being ripped out of the ground. When a couple unalived us. I would say that looks highly likely with these cards. This would be the mother. This would be the daughter embarking in freedom. Because if you're pregnant and then unalived, it's like freedom. This would be being the roots ripped out. And then this would be the couple at odds with you. I would say yes. Will my next doctor's appointment go okay? You have some kind of concern, and it feels like whatever concern you have is valid. Almost like you already know what they're going to say and you're right. You just need the confirmation. I do feel like it goes okay in the sense of you leave the appointment forward facing, so you have a plan or a solution or a treatment or something like that, but it feels like there is something that needs to be looked at, but you already know what it is. And it feels like the solution ends up being quicker, like you have an inkling of what it may be that may be up, right? And let's say you think, okay, this will be something I'm dealing with for 6 months. It ends up only being like 2 months or 3 months. So it's quicker, but there is something that needs to be looked at. Message for Debbie. There's some kind of change that you're avoiding making, and it feels like it's directly related to needing to heal a mindset shift around either a money wound or a self-worth wound. There's a need to start to show up for yourself differently here, because there's a way to restore the balance, but you need to not avoid that which you've been avoiding. It feels like this is about a money wound. So this could be kind of like taking an inventory of what's coming in and going out, or it could be your mindset around what's possible for you in terms of like options to maybe alleviate a specific debt or something. There's a need to get very clear about finances because there's a solution that you're not seeing when you're avoiding it that you would see if you faced it. So either like a debt being alleviated or a money wound, like mindset shift. Should I pursue rock climbing? Oh, that'd be cool. Will this lead me to a job? I'm almost wondering if maybe you'd end up getting hurt. There's something I don't like about this. Either something that could end you in a position where you end up getting hurt or like held back from a different option. This is like, go into it maybe looking at it as a temporary thing, but I don't feel like it's going to give you what you actually want to get out of it. It feels like there's a better option. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting good vibes from this. And it sounds like a cool thing too, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it's getting you where you want to go. So I don't know if that means that you would just be hyper focused on that and end up missing out on a different opportunity, or if it means you'd potentially get hurt and then lose out on another path. I feel like maybe more of like a hobby would be for rock climbing. It just feels like there's something that's going to end up better. Yeah, the Emperor, something going to end up better, taking action in a different direction. I would say no. What message do I need to hear? There's a need to be mindful of your internal dialogue here. It's like getting close to sinking back into old habits in terms of the way that you're speaking to yourself that aren't serving you. Loneliness wound and codependency. It almost feels like there's an empty space that's longing for either intellectual stimulation, creativity, like support and communication with another individual. It feels like there's an empty space that needs filling. And until that space feels filled, it's like you're being extra hard on yourself because you feel like the longing for the space to be filled, I guess. So taking action to fill that space yourself so that your internal dialogue doesn't reflect negatively on the way that that space makes you feel. I've been seeing mirrored numbers all day, every day for the last 4 weeks. Could you tell me if this is a message and what is it? Your spirit guides playing chess to get you excited again about something. Happiness. Taking off the blindfold so that you don't miss what your intuition was telling you about an opportunity for happiness. I would say all day, every day for the last 4 weeks. Make a little note in your phone and have a playlist ready of songs that you would feel like are kind of you talking to your higher self or your guides. It feels like what's coming through is directions on how to seize an opportunity at happiness here that you may have been missing previously. Bringing your focus back externally again. It feels like you focus internally for some time on this bit of like a spiritual detox, and now it's time to get your external world to reflect that. So the numbers and the signs are pulling you back into the external. So when you do see them, keep a list of notes in your phone of what song you shuffle when you see the numbers, and it'll start to put together the directions for you that are coming through. Message from my dad. Don't close the door on the last chapter yet. There's something that needs to come with you or come through with you. Almost like guiding you to reinvest your energy in a skill that you have that you weren't utilizing fully because you didn't see how it could benefit you. The Fighter by Gym Class Heroes. Fighting to reignite the spark in something that you were previously passionate about. He's guiding you not to leave it behind yet, whatever that is like a passion or a goal that you wanted to accomplish. It's like a skill that you're not utilizing fully that he's saying can actually bring you somewhere or create an opportunity for you. The earth is our school of lessons. I'm glad I got to experience so many wonderful things, and I always give you a kiss goodnight. The earth is our school of lessons. Learning how to utilize a skill set to your advantage that he doesn't want you to leave behind yet. Messages from my mother who passed 2 years ago this May. By this time next year, you're going to start to feel the heaviness lifting. This is 14 and this is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3, and that's 3. She knows that you feel very weighed down still, and it's almost like you're hard on yourself because you feel like you should be more past it, but she's saying it's going to start to kind of lift within the next year. You're going to be free from the burden that right now feels to be really weighing you down. There's a need to take some kind of different action when it comes to forward progress, almost like needing to celebrate the little wins because it's been very difficult for you and you're not giving yourself enough credit here. So taking some kind of action that allows you to re-pour into yourself without feeling guilty about doing so. I am just a thought away. Do not be afraid. Oh, taking action. Needing to let yourself feel your feelings and know that you can handle it, because that will release you to start to feel like the burden is lifting. Are there any health issues I should be aware of? Something I felt off for a while. I would say there's a need to get some kind of opinion or second opinion about something. With the Fool here, it's like needing to just kind of bite the bullet and go get it checked out. With the Magician in reverse, it feels like something not maintaining proper flow. Four of Wands is reversed to clarify, so something not going right, lack of a celebration. Page of Cups is reversed, so it feels like whatever this is has gotten worse. So almost like some kind of lack of proper flow that, if continued to not get back into alignment, will cause more problems. So I do feel like there's a need to almost like an allergen, environmental allergen test, or like it feels like something that your body's taking in that's not allowing proper flow. But it feels like something that just needs a little adjustment, and it kind of works itself out, I guess you could say. Like something that's just your body's not agreeing with, that once you figure out what it is, it won't be a prolonged issue. Let me do some of these. I feel stuck in my current life situation. I'm a caregiver to 5 people and feel overwhelmed and exhausted. Does my future look positive or does it stay the same? It feels like you figure out how to. Page of Pentacles, very practical energy. King of Wands, taking some kind of action. 5 of Cups in reverse, healing or recovery. So it feels like you learn how to either divvy up responsibilities or come up with a routine that works for everybody, that takes some of the pressure off of you. I feel like responsibility wise, it doesn't necessarily get easier, but like all the how do I word that better? The amount of responsibilities doesn't seem to go down, but it feels like there's some divvying up of them. So like while you're still in charge of all the responsibilities, you're not the sole one doing all of them. So it feels like you figure out some kind of action that can be taken that allows you to be less drained while still having the same amount of responsibility. Yeah, 10 of Wands. So carrying the heavy burden, but King of Pentacles will be the counterpart for the Queen of Pentacles. Same amount of responsibility, but less pressure, I guess I'd word it as. Any guidance from my spirit team about my book? Perhaps a song. About my book. Before moving forward, something from the start needs to be readdressed. Page of Wands is like self-exploration energy. So there's a better way, maybe not a better way, but there's a needing to go back and look at something from the beginning of the book that you could come up with a better way to weave it into the rest of the book, or a better way to present the energy more clearly. It feels like, I don't know if I'm wording this right. Going back to earlier points in the book and making sure that that was written before flows into what's happening now. It's like there's one part of the book that needs to be readdressed. Changing of a strategy. I'm almost wondering if it's like talking a little bit more about how things came to be, or what gave you the idea, or like the background of it. There's something in like the adding in background information or makeup type information, like from before, like a behind the scenes type thing in some way. Any messages from my grandparents regarding the little girl I'm pregnant with? Your grandfather is essentially saying to get ready, that she's going to be just like you. Like run for your money type energy, but like in a fun way. And it also feels like the two of you will end up being very close. I guess I'd word this as he's saying, get prepared to meet your little mini me, in her mannerisms and in her speech. Yeah, 10 of Pentacles. Almost like the message is that they're going to enjoy watching you raise a little mini version of you. I want to start a YouTube channel to help further my spiritual growth and hopefully help my Etsy shop. What's Spirit's advice on this? It feels like the soul calling that's pushing you to do this is specifically so that you can overcome the fear of being seen, because you're breaking that pattern of not wanting to be seen by the community, because you're starting to see yourself from a higher perspective when it comes to what you have to offer. So it feels like you're healing from a lack of clarity about whether or not you should be able to take up space. So you're healing the wound that made you subconsciously hide yourself because you weren't sure if what you had to offer was worthy of taking up the space that you were planning on taking up. So the advice here is take up as much space as you want to. Like, branch out, be bold with it, start to just like free flow with it, not necessarily have everything very structured, but just when you feel called to, be as authentically vulnerable with yourself as possible. Even if it means you record stuff and don't always post it, what you're doing is getting movement in the throat chakra, and the throat chakra was not moving because of feeling like you weren't worthy of the space it would take up when it was processing. So the advice is don't hold back, because what you're doing is more than just creating the channel. It's bringing movement to what was previously stagnant within you. Are me and my kids going to be okay? I need guidance and point it in the right direction. It feels like something needs to change in order to be okay. It feels like right now with the Magician and the Lovers both in reverse. How do I word this? Almost like a plan that you have right now isn't actually going to pan out the way that you're hoping, but it's not through any fault of your own. So it feels like there's a need to change strategy here with the King of Cups. Walking away from something unfulfilling, freedom, King of Cups. If this is a relationship that you're considering walking away from, this would be pointing towards that needing to happen. If this is not a relationship, then it's needing to figure out how to allow in external support until you can get back on your feet, whether that be some kind of funding or housing or something. It's like there's a need to change a strategy because a plan that you have isn't going to work out in the way that you think it is right now, but it's not your fault. But again, if that is a relationship, I feel like needing to acknowledge the unlikelihood of things improving being factored into your decision. I stay stressed. What's wrong? Feels like you're holding on to a lot emotionally or energetically without having an outlet to really release it. Almost like what's being projected into your external reality is the chaos that you're feeling internally when it comes to feeling like you're not having your footing. And it feels like you're not having your footing because of avoiding certain emotions. To me, this is step one, needing someone to talk to, needing almost like having a full glass of water, needing to dump it out to start fresh. And then starting to work on day-to-day routine. Where are you putting your energy in that's not serving you? And what can you do to pour more into yourself? It feels like starting with the basics, but needing to dump out everything you've been holding on to energetically. The Empress on the bottom of the deck, needing to nurture yourself back into emotional regulation, it feels like. Should my husband get a job with my son-in-law? Could he get the job? Yes. Should he? It feels like it's going to put some kind of strain on their relationship. Almost like one of them sees the worst in the other during the job. Should he? It feels like your husband ends up getting annoyed with the son-in-law. He could. I just don't feel like he's going to enjoy it as much as maybe he would a job that's not with a family member. Any message? There's a need to recognize how something that you're stressing about is affecting your sleep, and then the sleep is then making whatever it is you're stressing about worse. So there's a need to either face head on whatever it is that you're stressed about, or really start to focus on getting better sleep, because they're spiraling each other, the sleep and the stress. Focus on creating or birthing some kind of solution. It feels like something finance related that needs to be faced more head on, because the sleep and the stress are just continuing to add to a negative spiral of sorts. Will my son's recovery be successful? I would say yes. It feels like he's going to stay committed to this. I feel like you've seen some kind of positive change in some regard. This would be the Holy Grail. So some either treatment or mindset shift or something like that ends up benefiting him. And then this is going into calmer waters. I would say yes. It may take a little bit with the Eight of Pentacles. It might be a little bit slower or take more time, but I do see it going in a positive direction. Any messages from my dad in heaven? There's something that you're soon going to discover about a situation that you feel like you're lacking clarity or closure on, and it's going to help you see yourself from a different light. There's like a rebalancing out coming in with the closing out of some kind of chapter. This feels like it doesn't necessarily have much to do with him, but this is more him letting you know that there's about to be some kind of relief or like breath of fresh air type feeling. You're going to start to feel like yourself again because of a shift of perspective. It feels like he's helping with the shift of perspective. Something that you needed clarity or closure on, but you didn't get it. Needed clarity or closure, but didn't get it. And because of that, you weren't seeing yourself all the way clearly. But something is shifting that's going to allow you to experience the feeling of closure or clarity. And that's going to help shift the way you're viewing yourself in the context of whatever this is. It's almost like he wanted to be the one to tell you, oh, I am here helping you. Waving a white flag. It's like you've been winning little battles and now it's time for you to win the war. But that's not the card I meant to pick. Divine self, intuition, balance, connection, and spirit. That's not what I meant to pick though. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Whatever this is that he's helping shift perspective, it's almost like to make up for something or to complete something between the two of you, like complete a lesson or like whatever it is that you're getting clarity about. It's something that it would make sense for your dad to help you get the clarity for. When will I get married? When will I meet my hubby? It feels like each of you are still right now working on completing different breaking of karmic patterns. With Temperance in reverse, it's like you're not heading towards each other yet or necessarily on the same timeline yet. It feels like this person, the person that you will end up being with, is right now working through some kind of like either like a dissolution of a previous marriage or a breakup, or it's like some kind of family wounds that person's working through right now. I would say it's going to be under 5 years, but it's still going to be a bit of time. I would say between between 2 and 5 years. Message for me from my spirit guides on if I went the way I needed to with last night's situation. So this would be the progression. This would be the situation or a need to come up with some kind of strategy. This would be the right strategy to help you feel like yourself. Yes. You made the decision that helped you stay the most true to yourself. Tomorrow is my birthday. Happy birthday. Where should I lay my focus on in my new year? What is important for me? Needing to let yourself feel your feelings as opposed to intellectualizing them. Because once you start to let yourself feel them, you'll figure out what they're trying to teach you in terms of something new to focus on or embark on. It feels like allowing yourself to feel your feelings and emotions brings to the surface a desire to be intellectually stimulated in a way that inspires you again. The sun. This can read like a passion project. This can read like even reading a new book series. It's like right now, some kind of intellectual stimulation is the reward you're giving yourself for the processing of difficult emotions. So whatever you feel called intellectually to divest yourself in, it starts a chain of events that helps you start to feel like yourself again. Get you excited about the moment to moment choices. Messages from ancestors. Whomever it was that was giving you some kind of, I just want to say like behind the scenes trouble. So this could be like evil eye or just ill intentions or speaking bad on your name, whatever it was that you were dealing with in the last chapter, that person or those people are now distracted with something else. So whoever was sending energy your way that was not pleasant, they're now on to a different task. They're not focused on you as much anymore. Yeah, you're free. You're free from what was previously trying to create tension in your experience. I'm going to stay on for about 5 or 10 more minutes. A message from my spirit team and a song. It's almost like you're waiting on something outside of you or beyond you to utilize a skill or talent that you have, but you don't need whatever it is that you think you need that's outside of you. It's like you already have it within. There's just a need to take some kind of action. Speaking on your ideas, almost like needing to talk something into existence to show yourself that you're able to. Giants by Dermont Kennedy is the song. DNA lines crossing ancestry. Who's the reason? Closest relative to dig. My grandfather recently said that he has half siblings. No other info given. Family secrets run deep. Who's the reason? So somebody trying to prevent communication between parties by controlling the narrative. a family member that's in charge of hiding of truth or lies. Queen of Cups in reverse. So emotionally manipulative woman who has some kind of reason to want to prevent communication between two other parties. Why? To keep the balance. Treasure chest on the card. This would be like not wanting this side to talk to this side, because if this side gave information to this side about an inheritance or something, it would put pieces in place that they weren't supposed to figure something out. It feels maybe not that exactly, but it's more like trying to prevent two different sides from conversing with one another so that they don't see the bigger picture of something. And it's a Queen of Cups in reverse. Is Gary with Christopher's biological father? It has been rumored for years that he isn't. Is Gary with Christopher's biological father? Is Gary with Christopher's biological father? Independence, not together, patience, a final decision. It feels like there at some point was a change in plans, or like I was somewhere and then I end up moving somewhere else. The first place wasn't my final location. I would go with no. Somewhere better or somewhere more stable and secure. I would say no. Did I inherit my genetic condition from mom or dad? From mom. Dad. Well, that's clear. Dad's in reverse with justice in reverse. Mom's upright with magician here. To me would be like ingredients. So I would go with mom here. When will the hearing judge make her decision in my SSDI claim? In a few weeks. Is it possible make her decision in my SSDI claim? Is it, I'm wondering if it's possible that they're going to ask for additional information. This is like I'm playing chess. I'm not ready to make a commitment yet. Either a decision is coming in a few weeks, or it's like a buying time type of thing where like, okay, now we need this paperwork or this reference or something like that. But in a few weeks. Last reading, you felt there was foul play in my father's passing. I agree. Can you look and see if it was a male or female? Can you tell me anything more about how he passed? Anything you can see or feeling? Fathers. If it was a male or a female, what can we know about So from him, there is something to worry about that isn't being seen clearly yet. Female in reverse. That's interesting because I was just saying I have more females, but I'm feeling like it's a male energy, and we got female in reverse, which would be male. Bioweapon solved in reverse. So not who you would necessarily expect. Bioweapon feels like a family member, or at least someone close enough to be considered family. Oh, he passed. Affluent and blackmail in reverse. So it doesn't feel like he was being extorted in any way. This is more of like crime of opportunity type thing. Affluent makes me feel like it has something to do with money. How did he, anything you can, more about how he passed. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I said family and money. That would be the dark side of money. Page of Swords in reverse. Strength in reverse. Walking on a tightrope, but in reverse. Strong-armed. Is it fair to say that there's some kind of foul play and the motive has something to do with dark side of finances and a, I want to say, younger male family member? Revenge. Black and white. It's black and white. It's clear. Not who you'd expect, but when you start looking into it, it makes sense. Marriage, wedding in reverse. So the connection isn't what you would think it is. What is the connection? True. The connection isn't what you think it is. The connection is communication. Anger in reverse. This reads like revenge that, like somebody made somebody else mad, the other person couldn't let it go and ended up seeing some kind of opportunity to get some kind of financial element out of a passing. It feels like a younger male family member that you wouldn't expect. It doesn't have to be a literal family member. It could be someone that's just very close to the family, but someone that you wouldn't necessarily expect. But after you start looking into something, something would make sense to you, like you specifically. From a Distance by Bette Midler started playing. From a Distance. Not someone that you're close to. And it doesn't feel like this person has made any external changes. It's like they're stuck in place in some way, if that makes sense. Does Autumn have a message for my cousin Angie? This is like turning pain into art or repurposing lessons to let them work for you. This to me reads literally like turning your pain into purpose or turning your pain into art. There's a need to work through the emotions or burdens, whatever it is that she's carrying. There's a need to release it in like a creative and fun way. I'm trying to get through as many of these as possible really quickly. Should I do a GoFundMe for my dog's high vet bills? I would say yes. This is a way to break free from a toxic situation, a bill that can't be afforded right now. This would be the social element of it, and this would be the finance element of it. So I would say yes. Myself and another mod have ideas on possible locations once Sebastian's remains. Are we close? Oh, the Chariot. Two opposing forces working together. Two of Cups, connection. Seven of Cups. Moving forward towards a connection, needing to narrow it down. I would say heading in the right direction, needing to narrow it down. Chariot and Two of Cups is like you're on to something, though. Why is Three of Pentacles reversed? I would say heading in the right direction, but needing to narrow it down. Trying to figure out what that means. Almost like needing to be very careful when you're trying to narrow it down, that you don't accidentally get rid of the wrong one. It feels like you're very close to being onto something. I sent a message with a Google link. See if this is the spot you were thinking. I would say maybe not that one, whatever one that one is. More of like getting close to the right direction. We need a financial miracle. Any advice? Two of Wands in reverse. A decision you can't go back from. High Priestess. Freedom from something that's constricting you. Financial miracle. Decision you can't go back from. Committing to higher values. Freeing yourself. To me, this reads more like starting with getting rid of, I mean, I'm sure you've already tried to do this, but getting rid of any expenses or lowering anything. It's almost like showing that you're ready for another opportunity to come in by being very mindful of what's going out right now. This to me feels like there's an option to put down some kind of financial burden that you're not seeing. It could be selling something, refinancing something, reinvesting in some way. King of Pentacles, reinvesting in some way. It feels like needing to stop, take inventory, get rid of anything that's not a necessity, and allow, there's like a reinvesting of funds of some kind. Or it could be a reinvesting of like a talent or a hobby that you have and utilizing it in a different way to make like a side type fund. But it feels like there's some kind of debt that could be alleviated that would start to put you in the right direction. Is my daughter's husband faithful to her? Husband, daughter. I feel like there's that, at the very least, some kind of like flirting or like dancing up around the line, maybe not necessarily crossing the line. There's something to worry about, but the worst hasn't manifested. But there's also something that she wouldn't be happy about. Immaturity or behaviors from the past when it comes to toying around with romance. I don't feel like he's crossed the line, but I do feel like he could be doing better on the way that he acts when she's not there to see it. Is the pain in the right side of my neck and stomach something to be concerned about? It's your body trying to tell you something. I think I'd word it as a discomfort that's trying to get your attention so that you can fix something, either movement or maybe like an adjustment, or maybe like, I wouldn't say it's something to be concerned about, like an underlying illness. It's more of your body trying to get you to adjust something so that you can feel better. Told me a while back it would be a girl. Oh, awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. I'm going to do about 3 more and then I'm going to hop off. Are my thyroid fibromyalgia meds at the right place? I'm just so tired. I feel like it is causing you to be drained and tired, but at the same time I feel like it's an adjustment that your body's in the process of making. I would say to give it like another month or two, and if you're still feeling this way, then talk to them. But I feel like right now there's something about your body being in the process of uh getting to like a comfort level with it, if that makes sense. I do feel like almost like maybe something in like your diet or your routine or something needs to be changed up to counteract a little bit of how the medicine's going to make you feel. So getting more like high life force energy foods may be beneficial, or maybe like electrolytes or something. It feels like there's something that will help you combat the tiredness in the transition phase. Will Chris get a full-time job soon? Not as soon as you would like soon to be. Eventually, yes, but I feel like something's making this take a little bit longer. Almost like he's not being seen by potential employers. So I don't know if that means needing to change the strategy that he's using to apply, or making sure he's following up, or maybe trying to communicate with people who may have like a foot in the door somewhere. But it almost feels like he's not being seen, needing to be more seen, or putting himself into a position to be seen more loudly, I guess, so that it can happen sooner. Will moving be helpful for my severe health challenges, or stay where I am? Moving. Stay. I feel like staying where you are is going to put less strain or stress on you. This is my divine authority card, but it's in reverse, and this is confusing, or like spread too thin. I feel like right now, staying where you are is going to be less strain or stress, almost like it's not worth the stress of the move. Any messages or a song for the week? Some kind of download that's coming through for you. You've made room for more information to flow. Where's that deck? Something about emotional processing that has allowed you to make room to now understand some kind of download. Staying chill when they expect you to be triggered is top tier growth. And nightmares aren't enough to keep you from dreaming. Feels like the download that I'm referring to is like a dream that you're about to have that helps something make a lot more sense. Best shot by mountains versus machines. All right, I'm going to do 2 more and then I have to hop off. Do my spirit guides have any messages for me? Anything I need to know? Needing to focus on grounding activities so you can see where adjustments are needed to be made so you can start to feel like yourself again. There's certain tools that you need to be using when it comes to being as present in the moment as possible. It's almost like you're getting signs or synchronicities or clues to something, but they're being missed. And there's a need for grounding so that they're not missed, because it feels like there's an opportunity to flip some kind of financial thing more in your favor, but you need to be present to see the opportunity unfolding. Finding a way to protect your assets, I think I'd word that as. There's an opportunity to further protect your assets or protect your stability that requires you to be in the moment to seize it. All right, I'm going to close my eyes and do one more here. How is my health? I would say there's some kind of lifestyle change that you made kind of recently that's benefiting you, but it also feels like there's a need to get some kind of I just want to word it as second opinion, but I don't feel like it's your second opinion. I feel like there is something that needs to either be looked into or changed or like some kind of preventative care perhaps. But if yeah, it feels like something that's not necessarily a big deal. But there is some kind of change that would be beneficial for you in the long term. But it requires you to maybe get some kind of answer that you're nervous about or look into something that you've been avoiding. So you can learn where the root cause of something is coming from. I would say improving, but still could be improved more with some kind of preventative care or some kind of like shift in a routine occurrence, like movement, hydration, nutrition, something like that. There's room for improvement. All right, everyone, I have to hop off. I am gonna, I think, be on tomorrow for a members live. I'm just not sure what time yet, and then I'll be back next week with another subscribers live. Thank you to all my mods. Sorry I can't stay on longer. I have to like go blow my nose for 10 minutes. What else? That's all. Thank you to everyone. Sorry if I didn't get to you. I will see you guys soon.